Alex said yes to everything. This was his defining characteristic, the thing people in his life relied on and sometimes mentioned as one of his best qualities, which made it harder to identify as a problem. Yes to the new project at work when his plate was already full. Yes to the favor his college friend needed. Yes to the committee he was asked to join. Yes to the networking event he had no genuine interest in attending. Yes to the family obligation on the Saturday he had been protecting for 3 weeks for something he actually needed to do. He said yes because it felt generous, because declining felt like a small failure, because he was afraid, in a way he had never examined directly, that if he said no, the opportunity would not come back, the person would not ask again, the relationship would thin slightly, some door somewhere would quietly close. So he kept every door open. He was 29 years old, and he was connected to more things than any one person could hold with both hands. His calendar was a document that gave him mild anxiety every Sunday evening when he looked at the week ahead. Meetings layered over meetings, commitments that had made sense when he made them and looked less reasonable in proximity. He was part of 4 professional groups that each sent weekly emails he had not read in 2 months. He had 9 active projects in various states of incompletion, each one representing a yes he had meant at the time. He was, by the time he was honest with himself about it, a person of enormous surface area and not very much depth. He knew a great many people not particularly well. He was involved in a great many things not particularly completely. His work, which he cared about and had once found absorbing, had the quality of something done by someone who was also doing 8 other things. Because he was. The moment that forced honesty arrived on a Wednesday morning, his manager, a composed woman named Priya who did not deliver feedback indirectly, called him into her office and said, "Your work lately is scattered. I can see you're stretched. Something needs to come off your plate." Alex began to explain the projects and the commitments and the reasons each one was necessary. Priya listened. Then she said, "Alex, the problem is not the individual items. The problem is the collection of them. A good idea is not worth doing if it costs you the ability to do your best work on the things that actually matter." She let that sit. Then she said, "What would you do if you could only do 3 things?" He started to answer. She said, "Don't answer now. Think about it honestly. Then take things off the calendar until you can answer it clearly." He left her office and walked to his desk. He looked at his calendar. He looked at his 9 projects. He looked at the 4 professional groups. He thought about something his father David had told him years ago. His father was an engineer, not given to philosophy, but he had once told Alex about Michelangelo, about the famous answer Michelangelo had given when asked how he created his extraordinary sculptures. "The statue is already in the stone," Michelangelo had said. "I simply remove what is not it." Alex had heard this as a comment about artistic vision, about seeing what is hidden. He heard it differently now. The statue is already in the stone. The great work is already possible, but it is buried under everything that is not it. And until you remove what is not it, the yes when you meant no, the obligation that made sense 3 months ago, the open door you are holding open out of fear rather than genuine interest, the statue remains inside the stone, hidden by the noise. He went back to his calendar. He made a list of everything he was committed to. Then he asked himself, honestly, about each one. Is this it, or is this what is covering it? The question was brutal in its clarity. Some things were immediately obvious. The committee that had seemed like a good opportunity and had produced nothing but Wednesday evening obligations he dreaded. Not it. The professional group whose emails he had not opened in 8 weeks. Not it. The project he had said yes to because the person asking was important and the work itself was thin. Not it. Some things were harder. The favor his college friend needed. This was a person he cared about. But it would take 3 weeks of his time and the output would belong to his friend's project, not his own. He thought about Priya's question. What would you do if you could only do 3 things? His friend's project was not in his 3 things. He called his friend. He said, "I want to help you. I also need to tell you honestly that I can't do this at the level it deserves right now. I would rather tell you this than do it badly. Can we find another way I can support you?" His friend was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "I actually appreciate that. I would rather know." Alex hung up. He felt, briefly, the thing he had been afraid of, the small guilt of the closed door. And then something else. Space. He could feel it physically, not metaphorically. An actual reduction in the weight of the week ahead. He thought about something he had once read about Japanese Zen gardens, how the designers of those gardens understood that the empty space was not absence. It was the thing that gave everything else meaning. The single stone in the raked sand was visible and significant precisely because of the space around it. Fill the garden completely, and nothing stands out. Nothing breathes. Nothing has room to be seen. His life had been a completely filled garden. He had been so afraid of empty space that he had filled every inch of it with yes, and in doing so had made nothing visible, made nothing stand out, made nothing breathe. Over the following 2 weeks, he removed 7 things from his active commitments, not with drama, not with long explanations, with honest, direct, kind communication that he found considerably less devastating in practice than he had imagined it would be. The world did not end when he said no. The relationships did not thin. The doors did not close. If anything, the people he said no to seemed to respect him more, not less. Because a person who knows what they are protecting is easier to take seriously than a person who is available for everything. By the end of the month, he was down to 4 active projects from 9. He did his best work on those 4. Not scattered, not divided, actually present. His manager stopped him in the hallway and said the same thing Maya had said to Ryan in a different story in a different city. "I don't know what you've changed, but your work recently is different." Alex thought about the statue, already in the stone, waiting, not for more effort, for the removal of what was not it. He still said yes sometimes, but it was a different yes now, not the reflex yes of someone afraid of closed doors, the considered yes of someone who had looked at the calendar and the 3 things and decided that this particular thing belonged in the space. He had learned something that no one had put on his calendar, that the most productive thing he could do was not to add, it was to remove, that less, done fully, moved faster than more, done partially, that the statue was always there. He just had to stop piling things on top of it. The garden had room now. The stone was visible. He could finally see what he was working with, and what he was working with, it turned out, was more than enough. It had always been more than enough. He had just never given it room to be seen.